come Willa, and so tell people a little bit about what you told me about your, yeah.
I have a rotator cuff tear, and the surgeon said that he thought that I could fix it with really great physical therapy, but it was really important to have it not be painful. And so I came to Feldenkrais Physical Therapy, and I've been consistent with it.
Right, and it is better than it started.
Yes.
A year and a half ago.
It started a year and a half ago, and it's like really different. I can raise it, and I can go to here, and I can do enough that I feel confident that the recovery time from this surgery would be more onerous than really keeping with the Feldenkrais physical therapy, but it still aches a lot.
Okay.
Well said. Is that okay?
Yeah, great. So the other thing is, so it is Willa's right arm, right shoulder, and I just want you to see before we begin that you can see the difference, that she raises this arm easily, and if you look at just doing what's easy, and if you look at the distance from here to here, okay? Now, of course, she's already done, we all did one lesson, but now just doing what's easy. Yeah, about there. That's right. And look at, can you see that this distance is different? All right. And you can see, of course, that it's not as straight or it's not as high, but mostly I want you to notice that. All right? Okay. So I'm to the extent that I can, you can ask questions while I'm working, and to the extent that I can, I will answer them. I may not be able to distract myself enough to answer you, but what I want to tell you is that the principles are exactly the same as what we were doing here. The principles, in other words, I don't want to do anything that gives her discomfort. I want to make the movement small, slow, easy, with the idea being that I want to introduce the new possibilities in a way that is easy for her, that's comfortable. See, the nervous system is much more likely to accept something new if it's pleasurable. Okay. So it's her right arm. And I just want to see here. You think of this as she and I are going to have a conversation. And I want her to feel that distance here. And there's, again, a very simple idea that she has an intelligent brain. And feel that distance. And this distance from here to here, and how this was so short, that her feeling that difference already has perturbed her brain. In other words, the fact that I've made these things evident, I've made them obvious to her, that her brain is kind of thinking about it. Not consciously, not where she's aware of it, but as I said earlier when we started, so much of what goes on in our brain we're not aware of. Most people would say at least 90% of what's going on we're not aware of. And so we're wanting to access that 90%. Now, the other thing to notice, or that I would bring to your attention, is that I'm only going to do things right now that she's already doing. That sounds funny. She's presented me with, I can't raise my right arm easily, right? That's, you could say that, in simple English, that's what she's presented. I have some discomfort when I lift my right arm. Okay? So, for most people would say, oh, now let's correct that, right? Let's fix that. Now, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm going to support her in what she's already doing. And I'll explain. Now, you feel that movement of your head to the right compared to that. You feel how your head goes easily here, light, simple, and to the left, we stop. You feel that? Okay. In other words, contrary to what we just saw, you'd say, well, that's strange, because the left arm came so much closer to the head than the right arm. And I would propose that there's a relationship between what Willa can do easily and what she has trouble doing. That there's a relationship between what Willa does easily and what she has trouble doing. Maybe there. And you can see that opens up the left side of the diaphragm, or relaxes the abdominal muscles on the left. So you see this taking look what happens in the left side of the chest when I do that. What happens in the left shoulder? You feel each time I do that, the left shoulder goes up and the right shoulder goes down. You tell me if anything gives you discomfort. Now, feel this side of the lower back compared to this side. Try to feel here. Feel how this side of the lower back and this side. You feel? Look, I can stick my hand all the way through from here, and I can't do that from the other side. Good? In other words, you're doing something like that. That's right. Very nice. And then there. Oh. And that's right. And that is easy compared to that. Oh, that's easy. In other words, I'm joining her. Just like when you have a nice relationship with a friend or a husband, a wife, a lover, you feel like there's some way in which with that person there's no contradiction between us. There's no dissonance between us. So I'm just wanting to join her in what she's doing and not contradict her. Does that make sense? Rather, I'm not trying to correct her. I'm not wanting to do what she can't do, but improve what she's already doing. And you would think that if the right arm has trouble raising the right arm, why would I want to lower it?
That hurts a little bit from the inside of the elbow down towards the thigh.
But that doesn't.
That feels great.
Yeah. So maybe there's a little something other than the shoulder going on here. Because remember I said that she doesn't straighten the right arm also. Remember I showed you she kept it bent a little. So maybe there's something in the elbow. But it's minor. This is what she does. Look, which shoulder is going higher when I do that? Which arm is getting longer upwards when I do that? You see that? Blop, 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 blop. The left shoulder, right? The left shoulder goes up. And look how the pelvis tilts to the left so nicely. Each time I do that, blop, 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 blop. Yeah. First thing I want to show you is, you remember when I took her head down to the right? And then I took it to the left, right? So there was that, actually softer than before. And now feel, you feel? Mm-hmm. Can you see? Can you see that now the head is coming to the left? Even though I never took it to the left, it's coming down to the left more easily. One way of thinking about it is that the thing that she does easily, right, which is this, is part of what inhibits going in the other direction. Part of what I do well actually makes doing the opposite movement less easy. And now I'm just going to move the thoracic vertebra a little to the left, a little to the left. I want to make what she's already doing even easier. And I want her to feel look how soft that got, right? That's soft, that's easy. Now, that's easy. Now, there's a lot of trickery involved here, which, if you remind me, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's right. But I'll explain to you. Yeah. So that's the left shoulder, isn't it? And that's there in the middle of the back, goes to the left. The middle of the back goes to the left. And the left shoulder gets higher. The left shoulder gets higher. That's right. And the pelvis turns to the left. And the pelvis turns to the left. Good. Now, okay? Okay, so I'd like you, but you can lie on the left side comfortably. Okay, so let's lie on the left side for a minute. So just think that here, if that left shoulder were free, would it be going up or down when I do this? That's right. If it were free, if there wasn't, obviously it's fixed because of but the ribs on the left side are doing exactly what they were doing before. Can you see that? The ribs on the left side are doing what they were doing before. They're getting longer on the left side. And you still might be wondering, why? It's the right arm that hurts her. Why is he doing all this stuff with the left? Don't do anything. Now, just remember when Willow was lying on her back, I did that movement with her head, didn't I? I took the right ear towards the right shoulder. Good. Now. Okay. So if the arm can't come towards the head, why can't the head come towards the arm? For the brain and the musculature, it's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's okay? Mm. Now, good. Just slow. Now, stand your right foot on your left ankle. That's it. That's it. That's just fine. It's perfect. Okay, now move your right knee to the right a little bit. No, that's the left. Move it to the right, towards the ceiling. That's right, and back. Just simple. Good. Now, do that. When I do this, that's right, and back. So we do that together. I do this, and you move the knee towards the ceiling, and then back. Well, that's all. Just toward the ceiling, and back. And toward the ceiling, and back. And now leave the knee lying on, that's right. Good. Very nice. Slowly. That's right. Okay, and just feel where your right arm is. Good. Good. And stand the right foot on the left ankle. That's right, just what's easy. And again, move the knee a few inches and come back. And move the knee a few inches and come back. Very nice. Good. Rest again. And just feel the movement of the ribs on the right side when you inhale. That's right. Now, again, just don't do anything, but feel now the movement of the ribs on the right side when you inhale. Good. Now feel here the ribs on the right side come together. Boop, they come together. They come together. And then when I do that, no, don't do anything. When I do that, no, don't do anything. When I do that, feel that the distance from the pelvis to the ribs on the right side increases, doesn't it? In other words, there's more room there. Remember how when you inhaled and you felt like the left side of the lower abdomen was free? See if you can feel that now the right side is doing something, that there's some space there. And now feel that each time I do that, something happens in the right shoulder. Each time I do that, in fact, what happens is that ever so slightly, that as long as this is happening, it's very difficult for the right arm to get long. And that may have been going on before the injury. In other words, the injury may have happened because this was this meant that you had to use more effort to lengthen the right arm. More effort to raise the right arm. But here, if you think of that, and just let me do it, that's what you didn't do. That's what you didn't do. That's what you didn't do. That's good. And just feel the ribs on the right side.
That's something I've never felt.
No, I think it's been a very long time. Ah, good, beautiful. And stand that right foot on the left ankle. Good. And you'll see, just move the right knee toward the ceiling a little bit. Ah, good. And back. And toward the ceiling a little bit. And back. Beautiful. And toward the ceiling a little bit. Good. And stay there for a moment. Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And come back and rest. Ah. Now, that's good. That's good. That's right. Now feel that's another way. The right side of the chest is getting long. And now you can take this arm to the head and you can, that's right, just rest the arm there and you can go down and you can go back and you can go down and you can go up and down and up and right and left and right and left. And that's it. And just feel where your right arm is. That's right. Oh, yes. It's been a while. There. Good. Lie on your back. Okay, so we remember what it was like to take the head down to the right, and you saw some improvement going to the left, but let's do that again just so you can see. And then look. And we remember how easy this was. Yeah. And feel where your right arm is. Remember, this is your right arm. And this is your left arm. And this is your right arm. And what's the problem? What's the problem? Feel your heels. Feel your heels. This arm gets long, the left heel. This arm gets long, the right heel. This arm gets long, the left heel. This arm gets long, the right heel. You feel that? Bump. The right heel left heel gets pulled up, right heel gets pulled up, and both heels get pulled up. Now, you'll feel something interesting, which is that you can do easily. And here, you feel? Because that's right. That's easy. That's easy. And feel what happens. You can feel the chest moving relative to the table. Good. There you go. That's something. That's something. Good. Oh. Good. That's moving the rib cage on the right. The rib cage on the right that is moving inside the shoulder blade. That's right. Good. Now this will even be easier. Where's your right ear? Where's the right elbow? Oh. Okay, dear. Roll to your side. Yeah, and sit up.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
wait. Yeah, but no, still, you can be skeptical, still. Yeah, don't do anything. I feel how nice your back feels. And then your neck. Okay. Now, raise your left arm towards the ceiling. Just what's easy. And now, each time you lengthen the left arm, lift your right hip off the table. So that's it, exactly. And back, and come back. So you just do that easily. Just nothing to it. You just lengthen the left arm a little bit and roll on to the left hip. Beautiful. And come back. Good. Beautiful. Feel how the chest moves to the left, especially the middle of the chest. Yeah, just from the inside. Good. Okay, put the arm down. Raise your right arm. Just what's easy. And do the same thing now. You're going to... Excellent. And see if you can think of a line going from the left tush to your right shoulder blade. And that lifting the tush makes the shoulder blade get a little longer. That's enough. Just what's easy. And think of the middle of the right side of the chest moving to the right. That's it. Now do it 4 times quickly. Kind of blip, blip, blip. Faster. Faster. Good. And bring the arm down. And slowly come to standing. And just see how you feel. And walk around for a moment. Don't do anything with the arms. Just walk around. And just so, to satisfy the skeptics. Okay, so this is the easy arm, right? And it's easier than it was, okay? So feel that distance. Good. Now, don't do anything. Just, that's it. Feel how that is, and lean to the, that's right. Just feel how that is compared to when we started. Mm-hmm. 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 Good. And walk around again. Not too shabby, huh? So, any questions?
What did Lady do? Lady was lying and that's it, right?
Think of it, there's just no words. It's non-verbal. But that's what, she has never moved this, for a year and a half. She goes, she has the idea in her brain, I want to lift my right arm, and I promise you, she goes like that. Before, I'm exaggerating. She anticipates the pain, and rightfully so, because it's always there to be found. The other thing is that only a small part of lifting the arm, that's why I told you I wanted to tell you how I was tricking her. Remember? I said I'm tricking her. Only a small portion of lifting the arm is in the arm. So look at me. If I'm like this, look how I can lift my left arm, right? No problem. If I'm like this, look how I can lift my right arm. No problem. Now watch. If I'm like this, and I want to lift my right arm, I'm going to be like her. I'm going to injure it. So, in other words, this side, when I was shortening the right side, which is about everything I did with the right side, until the very end, I was shortening it. Do you remember? I pushed through the leg, I pushed on the chest, I brought the arm down. She said, uncomfortable in the elbow, and I felt that, and so I did a different movement, but still I shortened the arm, I pushed through the leg, right? All of that, I'm taking over the work. So then when I take over the work, her brain says, oh, I don't need to do the work. Right? If I put my hand here, do you think my hand stays stiff in my arm? No, I relax. Because your brain is always looking for support. That's why you stand on the floor. Because since you were an infant, you looked for support. You figured out how to lie on your stomach and use the arms to support you. And then you figured out, I can do it. The same idea I can do with my hands, and I can crawl. All right?
Right. This is I am doing, not somebody is doing for me.
Maybe the brain has to experience it.
No, just think we're doing it, not me. We.
On her own, will she be able to do it on her own now without you tomorrow, for example?
I would see, my experience of it was I'm sure there's a lot that my body didn't.
Wait.
My experience was noticing. And so I felt I felt very present. So I felt like I felt like my body was doing things, and I didn't know what to make of it totally, but I was noticing. And I felt like that noticing was a great thing to happen.
I told you while you were doing the lessons, I said, it's not the movements that are making the difference. Do you remember? I said that like 3 times. I said, it's not the movements, it's your attention. If it was just the movements, then I'm sure many, many hundreds of years ago, somebody would have figured it out. It's not the movement, it's the attention Of course, it's the sequence of the movements. The movements are all built around a common idea and building that idea. But it's the attention that's, what would be the word, mediating the process. And what I'm doing with my hands is I'm guiding her attention.
Does that become sustained, the increased awareness that she has now?
Well, what I was trying to say earlier is that the awareness is useful for the learning. But something so basic as movement, after, in a very short time, she won't need to be aware of what she's doing differently. Right now, if she were to do, tomorrow, if she was to remind herself by sitting or standing and having that idea that there's something about the movement of the chest that helps to lengthen the arm, or maybe resting her head on her arm, and doing this sort of thing a few times, that will be helpful, right? I'm not saying it's it's like a one lesson miracle every time, right? I'm not saying that by any means. But I think in this case, because she's intelligent, she had a way of digesting, because this is not her first experience attending to herself. So she was not fearful of being touched. It wasn't something we had to work through. And I think if she does those sorts of things a few times, tomorrow, the next day, I don't think she would need to be aware anymore. As long as she takes care of it and doesn't do too much. It's not that there isn't something wrong in the shoulder. It's not that something didn't happen. Something was real. I'm not saying it was entirely psychological, but I'm saying that her whole self adapted to it, and that she made herself vulnerable to injuring it. See, if I'm over here all the time and I want to reach with my arm, I'm going to have to use probably on the order of 10, 15 times the effort to reach here as there. You see, because here I have all the big muscles of the pelvis, the chest, what we call the proximal muscles are helping me to lengthen the arm. Here I'm having to fight against. As long as I keep this side of the chest short, I'm having to fight against it. But what was different in what I did was, I think, because she's told me that people were working on her chest, is for her brain, I made the connection explicit. I made the connection between the chest. If you wanted to go and put words to everything I did, there was nothing subtle about it. Yes, my touch is subtle, and yes, and I'm very gentle and I'm very precise, but it was a constant communication of, I'll do the work. This is what I'll do the work. I'll do the work. No, you don't have to. I'll take over that work. Now, I want to explain the trickery part, okay? These muscles being short on her right side, short, chronically short, means these muscles over here are having to work very hard to counterbalance. See, I'm falling to the right, aren't I? I'm falling to the right. And these muscles being contracted, it makes it hard for me to reach upwards with the arm. Okay? So what did I do? I just did what she was already doing. And by saying, I'm doing the work, I'm supporting you, I'm saying, I didn't say it verbally, but I said it non-verbally, I'm supporting you. I'll do it. I'll hold the foot there. All right? I'll hold the foot. I'll hold the chest there. And then she breathed on the left side. What happens to muscles that are short if you support them? You nullify or negate any reason for them to be contracted. Right? You nullify or negate any reason for them to be contracted, and now what happens? That's the trickery part. Now they can get longer. Now they can lengthen, so that by the time I finally go, rather than doing what was painful, doing what she fears, right? No, because I don't want to elicit the fear, the apprehension. So I come here. What did you do like a baby, as a baby? You did that, didn't you? Everybody did that. We all did that. We put a thumb, a bottle, right? Breast, right? And so I just put the hand there, and we just did that. We just did that. And then I put the hand a little higher, and then I asked her to stand the foot on the ankle so that she could move the pelvis. In other words, the big muscles, where's the big muscles, right? And the pelvis, and then the arm got lighter, and the neck got lighter, and then I brought the arm up here, and I said, no, don't worry. I felt her, she wasn't aware, but I felt things get a little tight, so I said, we can go down. Go down, of course, that's safe, that's easy. We can go down, but we can do that. And then we can by the end, we were putting the arm there, weren't we? Does that make sense?
How do you usually recommend proceeding if you want to educate yourself more in the method?
Oh, that's a really good question. So when I started, there was no such thing as a Feldenkrais teacher. None.
There was one.
There was one. There was one. That's right. There was Dr. Feldenkrais. And then he had 14 people in Israel who had studied with him. But in the United States, nobody. So there are his books, which are some of which are not so easy to read, just not because they're difficult to read, but because there's a lot of ideas packed into each sentence. And there's resources. So there's resources that didn't exist. When I started, the only resource outside of Israel was the book Awareness Through Movement. Now there's a number of things which I think are great basic level, useful, valuable recordings of ATM lessons. And I can make you recommend. It would depend on what you felt you were interested in, and I think that's where I would start personally. I just wrote a paper that I think went out to my students, but arguing that really awareness through movement is the where our attention should be in a way, because it's the most democratic. Everybody can have access to it. You don't have to pay $150 or whatever it is, $110, whatever they charge here. I'm not knocking coming here for FI lessons, but I think that because when you do awareness through movement and you feel better, as I hope most of you did after doing the lesson, that's a repeatable experience. You know that you can lie down on the floor for a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and you can produce a predictable change that will benefit you. I think that ability to be self-determined is extremely important to me, and infinitely more important. Yes, it's great to see a practitioner that can give you the bump, right, or get you over an acute problem. But to be able to be self-reliant, I don't know. For me, that's still, it was in the beginning, and even though I've devoted my life to being able to produce a change in somebody in a short period of time, or with somebody in a short period of time, I think doing awareness movement on one's own, which of course a lot of people say, I've had a private practice since 1977. So how long is that? 35 years. I've had a private practice. And of course, I always have the people who would never do awareness through movement on their own. They just want to come to me every week. That's it. You do it, dude. You do it, and I'll pay you. Right? And you keep me going. And so everybody is different. But for me, the idea of I I don't know, for me it's a practice. It's not that I also meditate. I do other. I told you I go to the gym most days of the week, but it's a way. I mean, again, I don't know how you felt after doing the hour and a half or so that we did, but for me, I feel younger. I feel better. I sleep better. Everything is easier because it takes the nervous system and takes it to a resting point that's really healthy and really good. Because the fast, quick, strong movements actually produce a change in the nervous, done over time, holding muscular contraction and doing big, powerful movements puts the nervous system, and not that I'm against big, powerful movements, that's not what I'm saying, but they put the nervous system towards an agitated state. And again, done quickly and then over, we think that's great because then we feel like there's a release of certain stress hormones, etc. But over time and held or sustained, this is a chronic thing. It's very stressful for the nervous system. It's stress over a sustained period of time, and just not good. So I feel that awareness through movement gives one a kind of direct means to make that shift.